1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just no shield my Mandy here. Maybe they have a dark poison in the back? I don't know. What? Doombug, come on, man. You're better than this. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. We're closing in towards the end of the 11th season of GBL, so hopefully you've been hitting some of your goals in climbing, and we are on one of our last weeks of a Great League format. This one is Willpower Cup, one of the first times having it, and I will say the meta is a little weird. The team I ran had a pretty simple concept, and it's essentially used the strongest Pokemon available, which is Mandibuzz. Not too much completely walls it off, and they have a Galarian Rapidash and a Toxicroak in the back, both being able to check some of the best safe swaps in the game. Toxicroak for the dark poisons, and then Rapidash to counter the darks, particularly Mandibuzz safe swaps. I saw these a lot being used as safe swaps. I ended up deciding using Play Rough on my Rapidash instead of Megahorn. In most situations, I think this did come in handy, especially against opposing Mandibuzz and Sableye and a bunch of other darks. However, you do struggle a little bit against some of the psychics like Cresselia. Also, if you haven't checked it out already, I do run a podcast for primarily Pokemon Go, but as well as other Pokemon games called the Battlecats Podcast. I used to host this with Zionic, and now I host it with Speed is Cheap too, so be sure to check it out. I have the links to the podcast down below. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. Alright, going into this first battle, this is a good one. It's against Rise Occasion, one of the best battlers in the world, and it's a Claydol lead. This is one of the best leads I can have, but Safe Swap Galarian Rapidash is pretty strong for this team, so I am going to counter swap my own Rapidash, and I'm going to shield potentially a Megahorn. Unfortunately, it is just a Body Slam. I'm actually going to double shield here because I really want alignment. I don't want that Toxicroak mashed up against that Claydol. He does get off one Body Slam there, and then actually swaps over, and then I build up to a Play Rough and throw a Body Slam. It was a good no shield, even if it was a Megahorn. He doesn't really have too much utility for this Claydol at this point. So I am going to stay in here and farm up a little bit extra energy. Raichu is a little bit unfortunate because I do, unfortunately... Oop, my Cranberry is out of here. I do get debuffed, but comes in with the Alolan Raichu. Now, Alolan Raichu is actually quite strong against this entire team, so I'm in a slightly tough spot. I tried to make a combo play, but it was a really great play from Rise to catch that Body Slam, and I think he probably could have farmed down with Volt Switch here, but he does not. Shields down against Alolan Raichu is pretty scary, especially when I have resisted fast moves only. So I decided to come in with my Toxicroak, let him throw the Wild Charge to debuff himself, and we barely get the Air Slash through. Air Slash being a 3-turn move to the Volt Switch 4-turn does get priority there. But a super close matchup, especially given how tough a lead that was. Alright, so my opponent here is going to throw a bunch of Charms here, and does a great catch onto Mandibuzz with this after that Gallade lead. But I am up a shield, and I'm in a pretty okay spot. I'm going to shield this because this is going to still do a good chunk of damage. For some reason, they threw Aerial instead of Foul Play. Not really sure why. Maybe they want some more energy to farm later. But we get a lot of energy here, which is quite nice. And then this Gallade does have energy, so I'm just going to probably commit to a farm down here, and that's exactly what we do. And it's a Sableye in the back. Again, the Play Rough come in really handy here. Super effective move. Potentially could one-shot the Sableye, which with Megahorn, you'd be in a different spot. So yeah, that's my case for running Play Rough. But again, Megahorn does have some interesting coverage in this cup as well. All right. Against the Gothitelle here, this is going to be an interesting one. Charmers are not terrible for this team, all things considered, just because you do... kind of can hang in there with Mandibuzz, which is kind of interesting as a dark type, but most of these Charmers don't have same type attack bonus, so they cannot really throw super effective fairy moves here. As expected, we do get a safe swap Mandibuzz, and we are going to take it out, and then they come in with their Gothitelle, and we do get a Body Slam off. This is actually a huge Body Slam. And I'm thinking about potentially coming in with the Toxicroak here because they had to throw a Psychic. And they actually come in with a Medicham. I'm going to let this go. Ends up being a Power Punch. So, it's kind of weird. It's going to put my Mandibuzz in a weird spot too now that it's boosted. We do get an Air Slash off, or Aerial Ace here, which is quite nice. And unfortunately, I can't really shield anything here, which is very unfortunate because I know the Gothitelle has energy. So, I need to save my shield for that Gothitelle. Unfortunately, very unfortunate, this Medicham just barely hangs on. I'm forced to shield the Power Punch. Maybe looking back on it, I just don't shield a boosted Power Punch and save it for the Gothitelle. But yeah, well played by my opponent there. Definitely keeping it quite close. All right, Alolan Raichu, one of the hardest leads for this team because there's not really any reliable checks for it. So we do just stay in here. We kind of just have to respect every move and shield and do the best we can. So we do throw off a Body Slam, and they actually come in with the Medicham here. I'm trying to get to that Play Rough. Unfortunately, I don't get to it. Maybe I should just throw in the Body Slam. Would have made my life a little bit easier. But that's okay. Gives us a little bit more time to farm here. But we kind of have to still throw a move and leave with just a little bit of energy. We do get hit by one more Ice Punch, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. And then I do think I should be able to get off a foul play. So I am going to shield here and then throw a foul play. But this is not looking great because we haven't even seen their third Pokemon yet. And I'm just going to try to counter this down, but Raichu does have quite a bit of energy. I end up just throwing a Thunder Punch, which is quite nice. And then we get to a Sludge Bomb. Is this enough to KO a Shadow Gallade? It is. So barely sneaking out there, but end up working out quite well into a very tough lead. All right, Mandibuzz. You'll see this lead very commonly, so knowing how to play this lead is very important. A lot of times the Mandibuzz will stay in, so what I like to do is first and foremost, you want to farm up more than one Aerial Ace. You want to farm up a lot of energy in case they swap into something else. You maybe could throw a move and then dip out. The other most important thing is trying to figure out who wins charge from priority, but most of the time these Mandibuzz do throw their Aerial Ace at the same time in the end, and it looks like we do win charge from priority here. This is perfect. So typically speaking, in this situation, I go to my Galarian Rapidash, and they actually come in with a Sneasler. Maybe not super common, but I've seen quite a bit of it in my ELO range, so kind of had to figure out how to deal with it. They are doing super effective Shadow Calls, so not great, but they are going to Shadow Call me down. However, I resist all these moves on my Toxicroak, so I'm going to come in here and just try to counter down, get a slight energy lead, and they actually come in with their own Toxicroak, double poison fighters here. Now we have an energy lead here, which is quite nice because we just throw the Mud Bomb right away. They actually even locked in their Toxicroak here, which is unfortunate because now they can't even catch a move. And yeah, we're able to finish that off and counter down the Mandibuzz. Something else I've been trying to do is also counter swapping the Mandibuzz in the end after when they're low health with my Toxicroak instead of the Galarian Rapidash. Sometimes I found that to be a little bit better because a lot of times they do have dark poisons in the back. And that just puts your Rapidash in a tough spot if you swap in right away, especially with Shield Advantage. Rapidash is not terrible against Dark Poisons if you have shields down, but yeah, so this opponent is going to come straight away with this Quillfish, and I get off the Mud Bomb before they get a move off, which I get a lot of value there. But something to think about is why give that up so easily, right? And so I'm a little bit nervous of what they have in the back here. So I'm going to come in with the Rapidash and start farming. I'm going to shield in case this Dark Poison having some health on this is still quite nice. And we do get off a Body Slam before they throw their next move. And they save 2 shields, and it's a Pawniard. This is not good. This is exactly why they want to draw my Toxicroak here, because now their Pawniard has a lot of room to go. I'm going to no shield a Night Slash here, but it's not great. I do bait up another Play Rough, but I don't know if I have enough health here. So this is not looking good. Every move is resisted on this Pawniard from the Mandibuzz. So definitely, like I said, one of the few things that wall off the Mandibuzz. But yeah, a really great bait out technique for my opponent here. I'm going to shield a potential Iron Head, and we do call the move correctly, but this looks like it's another Iron Head. Can we get to the Body Slam in time? And we just cannot, barely missing it. So well played from the opponent, and something to always consider if they do bring in Dark Poison. Sometimes it might be worth shielding the Toxicroak and pivoting out in case you can bring it back in for that Pawniard or something else. All right, a lot of Lucario has been running close combat, so I've been just shielding the first move, and they come in with Mandibuzz here. That's okay with me. I pretty much have good play against this Lucario regardless of what my matchup is, so switch advantage is not super important, so I actually just throw my move right away and just hope to no shield. If I get a shield, that's fine. Again, I have pretty solid play, and we do get to play rough here against the Cresselia, which is quite nice for me. They know I obviously don't have Mega Horn, so no need to shield, and they're saving their shields for this Cresselia. I'm actually going to save my Toxicroak here because I want to potentially shield a Shadow Ball, but this looks like it's probably going to be close combat, so I'm just going to let it go. And they actually probably could get some solid farm here against my Toxicroak, so not great. But we do put it in a pretty solid range for potentially one foul play. It's probably a Grass Knot, but I'm going to shield anyway and try to finish it off with this foul play, and it's going to be enough to seal the deal. Toxicroak lead, also a really solid lead for us. Typically speaking, you're in a very good spot here. My opponent does catch a move on the Mandibuzz, but that's totally fine. I come in with my Galarian Rapidash and see what we can do here. We're going to shield the first move just because the Toxicroak, I don't want it to be able to counter me down, and it already has some energy, so I'm going to force it to throw some energy if possible. I'm going to bait here. Sometimes how I choose to bait or not really just varies depending on the match, but this opponent's not going to shield anything at all, so that's kind of nice for me. And then the Toxicroak, like I said, will have to throw energy, but throws a Mud Bomb, and I barely hang on. I have really bad IVs on this Galarian Rapidash, but apparently good enough. And I'm going to come in with my own Toxicroak here, and they come in with Shadow Drapion. So in all likelihood, this is running Aqua Tail. Even if it's Crunch, I could just shield the second one if I get debuffed. And they're going to throw Aqua Tail, so I'm just going to counter all the way down here. Unfortunately, they do take out my Toxicroak, but I still have a pretty healthy Mandibuzz, and this Toxicroak just doesn't have enough health left to deal with it. Sneasler, like I said, kind of rare, but I've seen quite a bit of it in my ELO range. Now, the really good part about Sneasler, if you do run into it, is this whole team has a lot of play. Especially if you see in the lead, you don't really need switch advantage here. So I'm going to just try to grab maybe both shields here and then see what happens. Because shields down, Sneasler is not that great into this team. And I'm going to go for a bait here. Unfortunately, it doesn't land. So I'm going to just go for another one and see if I can grab a shield. We do grab a shield. I'm just going to keep spamming off these body slams. Really just whittle down this Mandibuzz. They do win switch advantage, but it doesn't matter too much because I have that Toxicroak in the back. I'm going to farm up quite a bit of energy. Mandibuzz with energy is very nice against pretty much most things. And they have an Overquill in the back. And this is not great for them because Overquill also loses Toxicroak. And yeah, these X's are just not doing enough. I'm going to throw this Mud Bomb here just to take it out before I have to get hit by close combat. And trying to go for the Mud Bomb, they're going to concede right there. All right, Medicham. Kind of a solid lead Pokemon as well, especially with the Air Slash. Medicham just being super bulky, so it does have coverage move of Ice Punch, so not great, but we do come in with the Rapidash. Rapidash being also very, very good against the Medicham, so I'm going to shield the foul play. This Rapidash has a lot of value, so keeping it healthy is quite nice. We do get a shield bait, which is perfect, and I'm going to go straight for the play rough here. It's going to do a lot of damage, and we do chunk it away quite a bit. So I'm going to shield here because the Medicham does not really want to come into a fully loaded Rapidash, and they actually have an Umbreon. So this is actually quite nice for me because Rapidash also being quite good there. Unfortunately, I was not able to get that body slam off, but that's okay. I do come in with my Toxicroak here, and Toxicroak is going to do solid against some Umbreon. Last is still going to do a good chunk. Psychic is always something you have to watch out for, but in this cup, pretty much no one's running Psychic. This opponent running Dynamic Punch, actually. I chose not to shield there because I did not want the Umbreon, or chose not to throw my move there because I did not want the Umbreon to get to multiple moves. So I'd rather just let it faint out and then counter down with my Toxicroak, and yeah, able to finish off right there. Umbreon's kind of an interesting one. Typically speaking, you think this is a pretty solid lead, especially because you have neutral Air Slash where they're throwing resist Snarls, but Umbreon's just so bulky. It does quite a bit. Obviously, once in a while you might run to someone with Psychic, so you always want to stay and see what move they throw. What I'd like to do here is chip it down a little bit and then wait for it to throw its energy and then go straight away to my Galarian Rapidash and see what happens. Rapidash typically has a lot of play against most things here outside of like a Pawniard. Even Pawniard with this much energy is not too bad. So we are going to throw the play rough here, and it's excuse me. It is going to KO the Umbreon, and we have a mirror matchup here, which is quite nice because I do want to chip down this Rapidash as soon as possible. Let's see what move they throw. I should survive a Body Slam, so getting off another Body Slam too. That's huge. My switch timer's up. I'm probably gonna go for a combo play here. Exactly what we do, and we take out the Rapidash, and now they have Toxicroak with not too many places to go. All right, Mew. They pretty much always throw a Wild Charge first after maybe potentially doubling up or just throwing and dipping. So I always shield. I've gotten baited once, but that's about it. They actually come in as wireless to catch a foul play. Great catch by them, but this Rapidash is going to do so well against this wireless. Double weak to Fairy. Even though Fairy Wind doesn't do a ton of damage, it's still very, very good in this scenario. And then now we see my Rapidash come in with so much energy, potentially have a Mega Horn too, so they might shield. They choose not to. Good call by them, but again, I still have a lot of energy, so I'm just going to keep throwing this energy. And then now here comes the Mandibuzz. I'm going to shield potential another Wild Charge here and see what happens. And then I decide to, I'm going to throw this foul play, see if they shield. They actually do shield, so I'm thinking, all right, they're weak to Mandibuzz. I need to catch the Wild Charge, and I do catch it, and it ends up being a Toxicroak, which ends up being a really solid catch here, because now we absorb all that energy on the Toxicroak, and the Mandibuzz could have done great, but either way, and end up finishing out Toxicroak in the mirror matchup. All right, this is a tough one, because Galarian Rapidash is just very strong. It's hard to swap into. This one is running Mega Horn, so my Toxicroak is not terrible against it, but it just has really solid typing, resisting those counters, double resisting actually, so really doing not much there. And Rapidash just being so spammy. I do double shield the Mega Horn though, and then now I come in my own, trying to get this Body Slam. I'm thinking, all right, it's probably not another Mega Horn, but these moves come out quick. It's another Mega Horn, so my own Rapidash is getting very little value here, and they come in with a Pawniard. So I'm going to wait on my timer here, because again, Pawniard is very strong against Mandibuzz, and then we do get some counters through here. It looks like my opponent is actually throwing a move, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe have a little play here, see what happens. And it actually is their own Mandibuzz, so I'm thinking, all right, we have some play. We do quite a bit of damage, and we come in our own Mandibuzz. Unfortunately, my Mandibuzz is quite a bit chunked in health at this point. So we're going to do what we can here. It looks like I do want charge from priority, so that's actually very important info to know. And I have to watch out for potential catch from their Pawniard, so that's something I'm worried about here. And they do make a perfect catch here. And honestly, if they don't catch it, like they just farm me down anyway, or they just take out my Mandibuzz, I can't really. It's a very safe call by them, right? All right, if you made it to this part of the video, be sure to let me know. Maybe write down in the comments, I love green cats, a little teaser for an upcoming Pokemon game. Best luck to those still climbing and trying to hit that next rank or leaderboard position. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye.